Hello, everyone. My name is Ana Martha Ayala, and I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. As a reminder, I do every video in English and Spanish, and the degree theory is based on modern Western astrology using the Placidus house system. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you about Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and also the country of Israel. And I will be reading both of their charts to see what we can find. One of the reasons that I'm doing this video is because at the beginning of the Russian-Ukraine war, Russia was accused of war crimes by bombing schools and bombing hospitals. Well, Israel is doing the same thing to the Palestinians, and I haven't heard anything on US media to indicate such. The only reports I get to see are the ones posted by foreign correspondents, mostly British, who are reporting these things, or actually people, doctors that have been to Gaza and have described horrific things. So if there are war crimes, because Russia did this to Ukraine, then there are war crimes for Israel as well for doing to the Palestinians what the Russians did to the Ukrainians. Now, I understand that this can, like I said, create controversy, but it is what it is. If it's good for one country, it's good for the other. So both are not being good global citizens. Let's put it that way. Now, I will only discuss things related to politics and issues with government. I'm not going to get into the personal stuff because really it's none of our business. But my main concern is that the Biden administration, with it authorizing US missiles for Israel to use against Lebanon and against somewhere, these people are going to end up causing America to go into a holy war. And we don't want that. Or at least I don't. I have two children that are military age, and I certainly do not want them fighting overseas for a war that does not involve the US. It's not about the US. So, you know, um, our kids should not be fighting overseas. We defend this country, the United States of America. To each his own. I know it sounds horrible, but I don't think not one American life should be lost to fight in Ukraine or to fight in Israel. It's not our business. So, like I said, I am going to be discussing the natal charts of the Prime Minister and of the country of Israel. All right, so Benjamin Netanyahu is the Prime Minister. According to Astro.com, he was born October 21st, 1949 at 10:30 a.m. in Tel Aviv, Israel. He is Sun in Libra at 27 degrees, the degrees of Gemini. So he will talk a lot. And it's in the 11th house, which rules politics, right? So, he's a politician, period. He is ascendant Sagittarius at the degree of Aries. So, usually ascendant Sagittarius, um, they're very moral people, very high standards, very ethical. They are the luckiest sign in the zodiac because they're ruled by Jupiter. Remember that this is modern Western astrology. So, um, when you use whole sign system and when you use Hellenistic astrology, you take the old rulers. But anyway, Sagittarius is always ruled by Jupiter. Now, he makes money by working in the government, and he makes a ton of money. His job requires a lot of talking, publications, speeches, that type of thing because it's the degree of Gemini. Now, Jupiter is not in the best of signs because it's in Capricorn, where Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, in the opposite sign. So this energy here is not very favorable. However, the ruler of Capricorn is Saturn, and Saturn is in the ninth house. And there is a very nice trine from Saturn, the ruler of the second house, to Jupiter. So that means he makes money from foreigners because it's in the ninth house. So these are powerful people, powerful governments, powerful corporations because Saturn rules in a natural natal chart, it rules the 10th house. So these people give him money. Uh, like I said, governments, and corporations with hierarchy. So these are powerful corporations. So his seventh house, he has a natal Uranus there. Uh, Seventh house, we know that it's marriages, that it's long-term relationships and business and love, let's put it that way. But it's also the house of open enemies. And you see Uranus there. And it's at 4 degrees, which is the degree of Cancer, and it is in the sign of Cancer. So he has open enemies in Israel, let alone, I'm sure, in other places as well. Um, but it is, he, even in Israel, he has open enemies. And of course, Uranus rules explosions, right? Things that happen suddenly, bombs. So this is happening, or this can happen in his natal chart. In regular chart or whatever, it rules divorce. So, but we're sticking to government and his rulership. Now, in the eighth house, it starts at Cancer at 15 degrees. So the eighth house describes how you're going to die. The ruler of Cancer is the moon. The moon is in conjunction to Neptune at 15 degrees. So Neptune rules assassinations. He may be assassinated while he is president, 10th house, in his home country. Now, how can this happen? The degree, 19 degrees is the degree of Libra. So maybe at an embassy or an ambassadorial function or a peace event, one of these dinners or that they hold or something like that, um, talking about peace and all that, because it may happen in the evening in secrecy. 15 degrees is car, traveling by car or walking on the street, or it can happen in the street. If he's inside the building, it can happen in the stairs or hallways are also ruled by Gemini. And of course, we have Pluto here at the degree of Leo. So while he is president, there could be a bomb, massive, massive destruction. So he can be basically bombed and he can die in that explosion. Now, he has Mars in the ninth house. So Mars at 26 degrees is the degree of Taurus. So, and look at the ninth house starts at 21 degrees. So it's the degree of Sagittarius, which rules foreigners or foreign countries. Now, Mars at 26 degrees, and this has an inconjunct to Jupiter. When I switch to the astro.com, version of this, you'll see it easier because this solar fire with all these little things is very difficult to see. But anyway, I personally think that he makes money when Israel's at war. That's what I'm thinking. Because Mars is at the degree of Taurus to make money while he is president, Leo. Now, 10th house. 10th house is the MC, and again is at the degree of Taurus, 26 degrees. See, same degree. All right, so he could also, he could have been an engineer. He could have been, he's doing a service, his job, his career is a service. He's not producing anything. Now, he has Mercury, Neptune, and the moon. So obviously, he works with people. Libra is always trying to find peace, balance, the typical um, ambassador to some like peace-loving, peacekeeping position. It could be also a lawyer because it's in Libra. He could have worked in petroleum because of Neptune, or natural gas is also Neptune. And of course, you have Mercury here. So he can have contracts with foreigners, 9 degrees, business deals with foreigners. Mercury rules anything, written documents, contracts, etc. And then what I find very interesting is that Venus is in the 12th house at the degree of Pisces to keep a secret. So he could be having secret business deals with foreigners. Here we go again, Sagittarius. And it is trining Pluto, the planet of transformation or mass destruction, however you want to call it, and then rebuilding, right? So it's the phoenix, right? You burn everything and then you rebuild. And then this Venus trines Leo, Pluto in Leo at the 17th degree, which is the degree of Leo. So with other presidents, he's making some secret business deals, or he can be having secret love affairs because it's in the house of sex as well. But so anyway, this is his chart. Now, let me take a look. Let me stop sharing here and share the astro.com. And then here you can see the inconjunct from Mars to Jupiter. This one's clear. Now, let me put in the transits because I believe, all right, that this guy is going to be out of his job in 2026. So Uranus is going through the 6th house. So this can indicate changes in health, changes at work. Jupiter is going through the 7th house. So there could be either good luck in long-term relationships with business or, just regular people like with his wife, or maybe he's going to find a girlfriend and he's not married, etc. So he's, Jupiter transiting the 7th house is good, but it's going to conjunct his Uranus, the natal Uranus, sometime next year. I didn't write down the date, but anyway, this could indicate a surprise, obviously, when Jupiter conjuncts his Uranus in the 7th house. So that will prove interesting. Now, I looked up when Israel's next elections are, October 27th, 2026. So we're back here, October 27th, 2026. And I'm going to put in the transits. That is when when Israel's next elections are, according to this information that I typed in, and move myself over here. So Israel's next elections, Tuesday, October 27th, 2026. I'm looking at it really quick because I haven't, you know, I have not done a full analysis, but again, Uranus is in the sixth house, so this indicates a change of job. And you have Neptune to lose. Saturn says no. And fourth house is the house of endings. So to me, he will lose the next election if he decides to run. I don't know if he's going to run or not, but there you go. I don't think he will be prime minister of Israel for much longer. 2026, I think his reign is over. Now, let me take a look at Israel. Israel's chart. According, again, wait, how can I? Okay, share. There we go. Share. Let me put myself over here. And let me switch to Israel. Now, when you pull up Israel's chart on astro.com, it shows that it was born basically at 4 o'clock. But I have a friend of mine who's an astrologer, and she had spoken with an Israeli astrologer that said that the talks of declaring the independence had started at 4 p.m., but the gentleman speaking spoke for 47 minutes. So at the end of the speech is when they declared Israel, the nation, the state. So I am using the 4:47 p.m. as the rising sign. Otherwise, Israel would be a Libra rising sign. And I don't think there's anything peaceful about Israel because they either start wars or they are attacked. But they're always, every several years, they go into conflict, either by choice or defending themselves. So to me, they are Scorpio rising. Now, their sun is Taurus, 23 degrees. So it is ruled by Uranus, and it is in the seventh house. So open enemies. Um, again, bombing. Taurus is all about land and property and money. And you can see that the second degree here is also second degree of Scorpio is ruled by Taurus. So Israel is all about money and land. And Scorpio is to kill, right? Scorpio has very good qualities as well, very passionate, very possessive, obsessive. They're very spiritual. They are very connected to the other side. But they can also be, it rules death. So I would not have chosen a Scorpio rising if I were the astrologer doing the chart of the Declaration of Independence for Israel. Interestingly enough, they have Jupiter in the second house as well, just like Netanyahu in Sagittarius at 27 degrees. So this is quite interesting. Um, and it's in opposition to Venus in the ninth house, which is Cancer. Venus in Cancer at the fourth degree. So this means Canada, the United States give them money. Also, domestic people also provide money for the government, right? But it's mostly foreigners. They also make money from obviously tourism because it's Venus money and it's business in this case in the ninth house. So tourism, import, export, what else? Travel, All right. Ninth house no, actually, hold on. Eighth house starts in Gemini at the degree of Aries. Eighth house describes the way that you will die. So the country of Israel has Gemini, which means at least two wars, 1 degree, Aries. And again, Mercury is there at 10 degrees, so you have the degree of Capricorn, and you have Uranus at 24 degrees, a degree of Pisces. So it happens, these bombs, these explosions happen suddenly, Uranus, in the evening, 24 degrees, right? So, and these are secret attacks that come in the night, right? Because it's 12th house energy. The moon is in the ninth house, so this represents very religious people, and it's a wide conjunction to Pluto. So there's a lot of death for the nation, for anybody, not, I'm not talking about Jewish people. I'm talking about everybody that lives in the country of Israel, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, doesn't matter. A lot of death for the people of Israel because the moon in mundane astrology represents the people. Now, 10th house um, represents the, hold on, because there's a lot of noise happening. All right, so let me share the screen again. Sorry, I guess my neighbor decided to do something really noisy now. All right, so 10th house, we were discussing Pluto and Saturn in conjunction in the 10th house. This is not good. It's a lot of death by powerful open enemies. Um, because it's squaring the sun here in the 7th house. And then of course you have Mars, which is also squaring the sun, which is not, Mars, the planet of war, squaring the sun. So war is caused by open enemies. Neptune in the 12th house here. Now, this is a nice placement, very nice placement, and it's in the degree of Capricorn. Because Neptune is very powerful in the 12th house. So these people are very religious. But they hold a lot of secrets as well. And if you can see here, the 12th house, which is also a house of endings, is at the degree of Scorpio, which rules death, right? So now this Neptune is sextiling Pluto. So again, this is a very spiritual, very, intuitive thing. So this is good. All right, let me stop sharing and let me go to astro.com. So we'll take a look at the chart of Israel. All right, let me switch myself over here. Let's go to Israel. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Because what I wanted to do was, yeah, I did show you guys that he would be out in the next election. All right, so Israel. Israel, we're talking about the transits going on now. So we have obviously Mars at the top, the MC, opposing Pluto in the IC, which is the 4th house. This is not good, obviously, because when Mars goes into Leo and Pluto starts going into Aquarius, these are attacks on the homeland. And of course, we see that um, at least on YouTube with all of the reports that are going on. So you have Uranus transiting the 7th house. So open enemies are bombing the living daylights out of the land, right? Because it's in Taurus. And also for right now, Israel has Jupiter in the 8th house. So death is not, um, how can I say this? Jupiter is protecting, believe it or not having too many deaths. My concern is that when this Jupiter conjuncts Uranus, then there could be a lot of explosions or a lot of death because sudden deaths because it's in the eighth house, right? So, um, and we all know that Uranus is going to conjunct Algol at 26 degrees, and it's in conjunction to Israel's sun. So Algol is the demon star. It's not a good star. It's not a good sign. I, if you live in Israel, take the precautions that are necessary. Have a plan B in case you have to exit the country in a hurry. And also, Pluto here will conjunct the IC in February of 2027 through March of 2027, and in July of 2027, and then the final hit will come later on. But this is transformation of the homeland, or it's a lot of death in the homeland. And then a few years later, and I'm talking about maybe 5 or 6 years later, when Uranus conjuncts Uranus, so they're going to be having their Uranus return because they're going to be 84 years old. That's going to be interesting because I don't know if Israel as a country will continue the way it is today. Because I think that Uranus is going to bring changes to its borders, whether it's going to expand them or contract them, I don't know. Because like I said, I just took a quick look to see where we're at, but I don't, and then of course, when this Pluto coming into here opposes the moon, opposes the moon, which will happen. Let me see if I wrote it down. Um, so it'll be Pluto at 4 degrees, which is probably sometime in 2026. That's when it's going to happen. There's could potentially be like, a mass transformation with the population of Israel, or it could also be, you know, not very good news for the population of Israel. So if you live in Israel, have family there, make a plan B. That's what I would do. And I hope to God that, like I said, my intention is not to form this controversy. I am not for or against Israel. I don't have anything, at stake. I have friends both that are Jewish and I have friends that are Muslim, and I'm a Christian, and we all get along. So I don't see why that can't happen on a mundane level, but that's just me. Anyhow, I wanted to bring it to your attention because things are going to get worse before they get better. So if you live in Israel, you have some kind of clue as to what's going to happen. Netanyahu, I think, will lose power. I mean, he won't be reelected in October 27th, 2026. I don't think so, at least from the transits. I haven't done his solar return, so, but at least just from the transit, it doesn't look good for him. And maybe you guys can elect a leader that will favor peace rather than war, because I personally think he's making a lot of money by having Israel be at war. And that's how I read the chart. So anyway, thank you for your attention. I hope that you have found at least a way to read the charts, a way to understand how the degree theory works. And we'll see what the future holds for Israel and the Palestines. Sorry, I don't know which way to pronounce it because sometime it's Palestine and other people say Palestine. So not sure, but anyway, I think that if we were all outraged by what Russia has done to Ukraine, Israel is doing the same thing to the Palestinians. At war, if you attack another soldier, you know, you guys are in it for that. But women and children, hospitals, schools, refugee camps, I think that that's not cool at all. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. If you have learned anything from this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and send it to somebody else who's interested in learning astrology. If you want a natal chart reading with me, please send me an email to amaastrology@aol.com. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.